If your furniture is looking like it's seen better days, you may be thinking about giving it the boot in favor of some newer pieces. But before you kick it to the curb, consider renewing that old furniture with some brand new upholstery. Kim Shagnon, owner of Kim's Upholstery in Greenfield, shows us how easy it can be to reupholster your furniture, old or new. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, you have brought some pieces that are absolutely beautiful, and I'm sure the viewers at home are wondering, how can I do this on my own?
Well, this is a fully upholstered headboard over here where you actually build the frame yourselves. And this little piece here shows a little bit of the construction process that's underneath all that beautiful fabric and padding. So this would be the back side of your headboard that would then have another piece of plywood over it, and this is the front side of the headboard that you would pad with your your padding and your fabrics.
So this is for a more advanced reupholsterer.
Yes, yeah, that's something that you would need some woodworking skills to do. So it's not something that, if you don't have any tools or woodworking skills, this is not a project you probably want to try.
Right, but this piece over here, you just took a piece of old furniture and redid it, and it looks beautiful.
Well, thank you. Yeah, this was a mahogany headboard and footboard that we found at a flea market. It was, I think, like $20, $30. And what we did is we painted the frame out with a black, and then we went over it with a dry brushing gold technique to get it,
that
give
gold
it some
is
new
my
life.
favorite.
Thanks. And then to do that, what you would do is you would pad the area of the headboard, and the footboard has a little less padding, but we have foam on the headboard portion, and then we've gone over it with a Dacron. And that gives you that soft, nice look. And then you would pick your fabrics out and staple them onto the frame. And you've got different options of trims that you would use to cover the area where you put your staples onto the headboard. And we use pneumatic staplers because we have air compressors, but if you don't have that, you can use some sort of a hand stapler that you can find in your local hardware stores or Home Depots to do the stapling process of that.
Okay, so we don't have fabric, but can you show us a little bit about how we can upholster these pieces?
Yeah, so you would take your foam and you would attach it to your headboard frame, in this case using that as an example, and then you would go over it. We use a glue adhesive spray that we do, and you glue the foam down so that it adheres to the wood. And then you would take your Dacron and you'd go over the top with that, and you'd wrap it onto the headboard, and then use your staples and staple it in along the edges.
Oh, that's easy. So do you actually have to have these be the shape of the headboard?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so if we were doing this for real, we would cut it to the shape of this.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we just staple it down?
Yep, you would just staple it down. And like on this headboard, where you can see on the edge, we have this decorative trim, which is a double cording, which is something you make out of your face fabric that you have, that you're using, so it coordinates. And that you would just glue on with either a fabric adhesive or a hot glue gun. Okay. Would work fine for that.
And you do that to hide the staples?
To hide the staples, exactly.
Okay, and we put the fabric over this before we staple?
Yes,
okay.
The fabric goes over the top. And you can see we've done the footboard and headboard to match, so that then your mattress is in the middle, and of course then you make your nice bedding to go with it.
All right, and it's as simple as that.
It is, yeah.
And as far as these, do you need both of these pieces?
That would depend on how thick you want it. In this particular one that we did here, we do have a foam and a Dacron. But on the footboard, I only have a Dacron because you really don't need that extra padding there.
Right.
You just want something to give that fabric a soft look. You could, I suppose, you could just staple the fabric on without any padding if you chose to. But I like the effect the padding gives it.
Oh yeah, it makes it stick out a little more.
It does.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
It's
and
beautiful.
It's soft, and then if you want to lean against it at night to read a book, you've got a nice pad behind your back.
Right, and we're talking about headboards right now, but is this something that you could do with maybe older furniture, like a chair or a couch?
Well, a chair is a lot more involved process of upholstery. That involves tearing down the frame, and then or tearing down the fabric off the frame, and then you repad the whole frame and put on your new fabric. And that's a lot longer process, but there's a lot of videos out there on YouTube for people that want to try these things. You just do a search on YouTube for what you want to upholster, and you usually can come up with some good stuff.
So if you're a beginning reupholsterer, doing headboards is a great way to start.
It is, exactly. Yeah.
Well, thank you for being with us and teaching us this fun new trick. We appreciate it.
Great, thank you for having me.
Of course.